everyone. It's your big sister Chiquis, and you've reached my personal voicemail box for the Dear Chiquis podcast. I'm here to give you advice on anything and everything you need help with, whether you're going through a breakup or having issues with your family, or maybe you have a question about my personal life. Whatever the case is, I want to hear from you. Remember, these are my thoughts and my opinions, and if you're suffering from a serious issue or hardship, you should seek help from a qualified professional. All right, now go ahead and leave your message at the sound of the beep.
Hi, Chiquis. I hope you're doing well. It's been great to see you shining and thriving and succeeding in your career and on your current life trajectory. Congratulations on all your milestones. My question for you is, what is your take on how, toxic growing up in a Latino household could be? What I'm asking is, in a scenario where there's a lot of comparison, tu prima is, making this much, or so-and-so has this career, and so does things this way, and la la la. It's like a constant compare and contrast type of dynamic, and I think it's just silly. I think that we should all be proud of each other and celebrate our wins, right? And there shouldn't be a lot of competition. We should uplift and motivate each other. Do you ever feel a sense of responsibility now, to kind of change things and break those generational curses? Because I think it's pretty strong and prevalent in Latino culture where we tear each other down instead of celebrating each other. You know what I mean?
I absolutely know what you mean, Tony. I think this is a great topic for Chiquis and Chill, so we can talk about it a little more, because it is something that I see that happens in Latino families and just with Latinos in general. There's a lot of celos, a lot of jealousy, and instead of us celebrating, uplifting other Latinos, it's kind of este ya se cree mucho. He thinks he's all badass because he made it and he changed. And it's always that, narrative. And that's not cool. Some people do change. I get that. But in reality, it's, I don't know. I see that a lot, and that makes me sad. And I do feel, when it comes to me personally and my family, I did feel that when I was young. My mom is obviously not here to defend herself, and I feel like I don't want to make her look bad, but she did compare me a lot to my cousin, who I love very much. It was kind of oh, why aren't you like your cousin, Karina, who's great at school and gets straight A's, and she's reading at a level I don't know what, and I was always behind in school. I had other things that I was dealing with, that I think affected it. And that stayed with me for so long, and it did affect me until I had to shake it off and do therapy and do all the things that I do to be okay with it. But I do feel that, not responsibility, but that desire in my heart to change that, especially even with my siblings, and not compare them to one another, because I do. And I've seen that a lot in my family. And I think it is a Latino thing. And that's why it's up to us to break those generational curses so that hopefully the generations to come aren't like that. And there's not it's not about competition. It's about, how can I grow? How can I learn from this person and uplift them? And if someone's not doing something correctly, or I think they're going in the wrong path, how can I help them get on the right track? You know what I mean? And I totally understand. And it's something that bugs me. And we do need to be better. I think just as a culture, just be better in every way in that sense when it comes to that, and not see it as competition. Oh my gosh, I see that so much. That is such a good episode, just because I was just talking to someone about this in regard to I see Latina influencers and how there's celitos amongst, it's just so much. Anyway, I'm not going to go there. We'll talk about that in another episode. But thank you. That was a great question, Tony. And I hope I answered it. But yeah, we're going to change things in this world. Yes, we are. It starts with us. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, guys, moving on to Nancy's question.
Hi, Chiquis. My name is Nancy. I'm from Phoenix, Arizona. I admire you so much for everything you've gone through. We have similarities. When it comes to your favorite preacher, who do you get inspired by hearing the word of God through?
Ooh, girl, these questions. I love them. Okay, so I love Joyce Meyer. I love Joel Osteen. But my favorite, those are like the ones that I started listening to because, Joel Osteen is in Houston and Joyce Meyer is, I don't know where, I think in Texas. I don't know what part of Texas she's in. But anyway, the point is that I started listening to sermons with them years ago. But right now, my favorite is Stephen Furtick. I don't know if I'm like pronouncing his last name correctly, but it's Furtick. He's amazing. His wife is great. I have a friend named Andrew who sends me links all the time, and I love listening to the word through him. I think he explains it so nicely, like it's just so easy to comprehend and it's not too long. It's awesome. And then, of course, my spiritual parents, the Buelnas, that I haven't gone to their church in a long time. Shout out to them, but I love them. And they're also really good because they do English and Spanish. But the one that I'm listening to the most right now is Stephen right now, for sure. But thank you. I appreciate that question. That's awesome. Wow. Yeah, I like these questions. Okay, next question. Angela, let's see.
Hello, Chiquis. I just want to know if how do you feel actually about the whole situation with your brother Johnny and being there for your ex on court and supporting him, and how did your ex react, as well as your husband feels about him doing so, and has this been a situation that has affected you? And also, just want to make sure that you know that I love your shows, your mother and you guys and everything. And I hope the situation with you and your siblings is going well or is getting better. Love you.
Thank you, Angela. It is getting better, the situation with my siblings, little by little. Everyone's growing up and everyone's doing their own thing. And I have, I think, come to a place where I finally feel at peace with it and I'm accepting it. But thank you so much for that. And okay, Johnny and my ex, Angel. I don't talk too much about this situation because it happened so long ago, but yes, this whole situation that, court and everything, it's a whole thing. People that know, but, and I don't want to get into the nitty gritty or the details of it because I feel like it's not necessary. But my brother, Johnny, was basically raised, of course, I raised him, but the only male figure in his life was my ex, who was my partner and fiance at the time. I think he came into his life when he was 10 years old. And then when my mom passed away, he was 11. And anyway, they got really close and they've been close ever since. Even when we broke up, Johnny would go and see him. And as soon as he was able to drive, they've just stayed in contact. And I think it's a beautiful thing. And I'm very grateful with Angel because he's never turned his back on him. That's one thing I can say about that man is that he's a great father, a very present father. And Johnny calls him dad. And with Emilio, my husband, now I told him that from the very beginning. I learned that I needed to be open about that right away so that he was aware and it didn't catch him off guard. So he's totally fine. We've talked about the situation. We don't talk about the situation amongst ourselves, Emilio and I, but I've talked to Johnny in front of Emilio about the situation and going to court and supporting him, Angel. And Emilio doesn't say anything. He's totally fine with it. I don't hide it from him either. And he's fine with it. I think it happened so long ago and it's something that I spoke to him from the very beginning and he's okay with the relationship that he has with Angel. Kind of like lo que no es de tu año no te hace daño, sort of thing. But it does make my heart hurt for Angel, for his children. I think of his children. I'm very good friends with his ex-wife as well. And we're really cool. I just texted her a couple of days ago and I stay in contact with his kids however I can, whenever I see them, it's a very nice hello. But it hurts me. Obviously, it is someone that I cared about, but it hurts me for Johnny. It hurts me for his kids. It hurts me for him, the whole situation that he's going through. And it's tough, but I'm glad that Johnny was there. He went to, I think, every court date with him. So I appreciate the relationship that they have. And yeah, I hopefully, I was like, without getting into details, it's a little hard because some people might not understand what I'm talking about, but I'm answering your question, Angela, so it's all good. All right, guys. So that's it for this episode of Dear Chiquis. Thank you guys for your questions. I really enjoyed them, and I'm here for you. If you have a question for me, it could be about anything, as you could see, my personal life, anything about your life, any advice that I could give you, I will be more than happy to do so. And leave it at speakpipe.com/Chiquis and Chill podcast, y'all. Los quiero mucho. And I'll see you on the next one. This is a production of iHeartRadio and the My Cultura Podcast Network. Follow us on Instagram at My Cultura Podcast and follow me, Chiquis, that's CHIQUIS. For more podcasts from iHeart, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast.